My name is Jonas Habimana from Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm the executive director to BIFERD, the national NGO based in Goma. Goma is an area well known by more people due to the actual crisis and the conflict in the zone. Our organization is established in North Kivu since 2004. And we have experience in water hygiene and sanitation programs, food security and the nutrition programs. We do education and child protection. And we integrate gender DRR, disaster risk reduction, in our approach. I will be talking to you about how our organization has been affected by the crisis. We were working in the context many years ago, but since 2022, 2022, M23 and the government army were fighting seriously, causing millions of people displaced around the Goma city where I'm living and where our headquarters is based. But the situation were very complicated since this January, because we have seen M23 attack and control Goma. And since 2 weeks ago, now the Goma city is under M23 control. We don't have any choice. But the organization is still responding to the crisis. Especially, we got funding from USAID under localization process. It was a very big opportunity for our organization, BIFERD, to get direct funding from USAID as the first step. We were using 500,000 US dollars from USAID, but it was like a subcontract because we had to working and submitting milestone report to USAID to be refunded. But we have been seriously affected because we received the stop letter from the grant officer from USAID, and they have been in obligation to stop also our intervention. And that has really affected more people because we used around 30 staff who were affected to this project, a project based on water hygiene and the sanitation response, because we were distributing water to vulnerable people, we were rehabilitating water points, we were also distributing wash kits, and we distributed also many other aspects related to hygiene and sanitation to women and the girls. And we were also constructed some latrines and wash facilities. Now, with the stop of the funding from USAID, for BIFERD organization is a shock, because we were hoping to be more biggest organization, to be more powerful organization, a localized organization responding to needs of people, but USAID has stopped the process. And we have seen that around 40,000 people are now affected by the response because we were in obligation to stop the response. Please allow me to understand that this is a very big problem, because most of organizations don't have the capacities to respond to the crisis, knowing that 90% of organizations I know in my city and in my region were funded by biggest funding from USAID. So it seems that vulnerability is now very high because those of this funding stop, and we should be registering more people vulnerable in the zone. While USAID has stopped, we are trying to mobilize funding from many other sources. Especially, we are now trying to contact the people living in Europe, living in Asia, to see if they can be funding, but it's a process. And we continue to mobilize existing organizations and the UN agency like UNICEF, Save the Children International, and Islamic Relief, to see how possible to responding to this crisis. Especially as it's a zone occupied by armed groups, it seems that capacities to responding to this crisis will not be happening yearly. And we really need to see how private foundations, public sectors, private and individual people should be trying to support our effort, because without this funding, I think it will be a very challenging moment, especially for national NGOs who are promoting localization. I need to see this video to be published to people around the US. Those who will still have a heart to support, this is the moment to come in solidarity with us, to give us their support so we can continue saving people and responding to these life-saving activities in terms of helping people affected by this crisis. We have been communicating with our beneficiaries from different areas where the crisis is affecting. We communicate with local authorities that USAID has stopped. Sometimes also our staff are getting a very bad news when we are stopping their contract. And there's the people who were assisted by WASH response. There's people who were assisted by food security programs. When we go back to them, telling them that USAID has stopped the funding, so they are really traumatized. It's a very big news we are giving to people we are saving, because vulnerability will be still high and their protection should be very complicated. Thank you very much.